Morning, everybody. Uber Lady Charlotte here. I know I sound weird. Yes, I am sick. Well, I'm on the verge of being sick. I don't have a cold. It's just my asthma acting up real bad. So I got this big lump in my chest. And my nose gets congested just a little bit. I took part in trying to help somebody else out that was sick. So, because they needed my help. And Daddy was sick like the week before. So I was taking care of him, or the 2 weeks before that. So I was just trying to lend a helping hand, knowing that I would get sick. But it's not as bad, and I'm trying to catch it to where it don't get worse. I just got to keep my chest covered up and that type of thing. But I want to say hey to some people. Hi Dan. Hi Shell. Hi Uber Dude. Hi Uber Dude Tampa. Hi Angela. Hi Eric. Hi Felicia. And hi, and I may be saying it wrong, Tricia. I don't have it all in front of me right now, but you know what? I need to do a shout out video today. But anyway, so we're gonna skip past that. Like I said, I don't feel very well. I need to go out and do Uber. I need to get $70, so I'm gonna go out later. But I'm gonna nurse myself first, so I may have to get out later on tonight. I don't want to get anybody sick, but I gotta get out there. Maybe I'll just cut it on from home and see what I can come across. It's supposed to be warm here today, so I may be able to get something. Like I said, I know some of y'all thinking, you sick, you gonna drive people around? I'm not sick with a cold. I'm sick with asthma and chest congestion. That's all. And I can't hit my asthma pump so many times. Or I'll be shaking like a crackhead, so I don't want that. Um, I do have a story to tell y'all, because y'all been requesting it. But I gotta watch how I tell it, because somebody may come back for me. But here goes. Once I had a roommate, and they had a very unique car. Beautiful car, but very unique. I had never seen one like that. Um, they used to rent, pay half the rent of where I lived. And it wasn't too long ago. They used to rent pay half the rent of where I lived. So they had a separate entrance to the house. And the only time I would see them really is if we met in the kitchen sometimes, or he happened to be going to the bathroom and I happened to be going to the bathroom. Then I would turn around and go back to my room. I mean, we were cordial with each other. He was a very, very nice person. But he pretty much stayed to himself, which was cool. Best roommate ever. Best roommate ever. Never bothered me. Well, I ain't gonna say best roommate ever, because it got to this point to where he didn't have his part of rent and told me it was a privilege for him to pay me rent. I ain't gonna even get into that. I'm not even getting, cause y'all about to make me cuss. I ain't even finna get into that, because I got real ugly. Don't play with my money. I got real ugly. So anyway, but it got to where we would have these conversations. Like I said, we met up in the kitchen. Good morning. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Because he worked third and I worked first. Well, first. So we didn't hardly run into each other, which was cool. That's what made it a great roommate. He was very clean, neat, organized, nice guy. Had some weird ideas about things sometimes, but I'm sure I had some weird ideas to him as well. But he was also very secretive. Very, very, very secretive. Well, when he worked third shift, he'd leave the house about he'd leave the house about 8 or 9. I don't know why he'd leave so early, but he'd leave about 8 or 9. See that we only lived about 15 minutes from the job, but he would leave about 8 or 9. But I didn't question it because it wasn't my business. We wasn't close like that. We tried to be close like that one time, but that's a whole different story. And I realized he didn't like me. He just thought he was going to live in my house for free by pretending to like me. And I had to tell him one day, I could tell you don't like me. It's the way you look at me. And the way you talk to me. You don't like me. You're in love with somebody else. So that's a whole different video. So I later found out what the deal was. But before he would leave for work, he would say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go. You have a good night, okay?" And I would say, "You do the same." Then he'd go out his entrance out the back of the house. He'd get in the car and he'd leave. This was common all the time, all the time. Now, one day, my sister called, my little sister, and she was like, "Hey, somebody got hit and killed down here, at this street and that street at the intersection. The car ran through the intersection, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and and they got hit in the crosswalk." I'm like, "Oh, that's terrible." Young man, I think it was August the 3rd. Y'all can look it up. August the 3rd of 2016. They show you a video clip, and they show you the car that came through the intersection. They don't show you the boy that got hit. They caught the vehicle at another intersection. And this vehicle was hauling boogie. All right. So that got me to thinking. That same night, my roommate was off work. And I happened to be up at 1:30 in the morning. And Uber Lady Shin Shin, she was in another room because she was living with me for a moment. So she was in the other bedroom because I had 3 bedrooms, so to speak, 3 bedrooms. So, my roommate came in the house. He came to the front of the house, and I had my bedroom door open in case Uber Lady Shin Shin said something to me. I could hear her. He came in. Well, he didn't come in my room. He wouldn't come in my room after we had that conversation about you don't like me. So he would stop at the doorway. He tapped on the side of the door, the side of the wall, and I said, "Yeah, who is it?" He said, "Oh, it's just me." And he poked his head in. He still wouldn't come in my room. He poked his head in. And I say, "Hey, what's up?" Because, see, we didn't talk like that. He didn't come to the front of the house. So I said, "What's up?" He was like, "Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say hey." But I noticed he kept looking at the clock on the side on my nightstand. He kept looking at it. So I looked at him. I'm like, okay, he wants me to recognize the time for something. He wants me to be aware of the time for a reason. And he was kind of shook. And I automatically knew he did something. Because he's always very calm and, collected, and nothing rattled him. Very peaceful guy. But he was fidgeting, he was nervous, and he made sure I documented the time. It was 1:30. All right. We didn't even talk about anything. He was just kind of standing there to make sure that I recognized he was there. I said, "Okay, so, all right, good night." He turned around, he walked back to the back of the house. As soon as he did, Uber Lady Shin Shin came over to my room. She was like, "Mom, what was that about? He don't ever come to the front of the house." I said, "I know." I said, "Something's wrong. He's done something or got involved in something." And he wanted to make sure I documented the time because he kept looking at the time on the nightstand. And I looked at it, and it's 1:30. So I said, I gotta keep my eyes out for something. I'm sorry, excuse me. He goes back there. All right, so like I said, he came in third shift, and I would go to work first shift. Well, the next morning when I go to work, because he sleep, I go out the house to go to work. His car is tore up in the front. Front right panel on the hood. The hood is peeled back a little bit on the front from the headlight back to midway. And okay, now when we go from the front right panel where the headlight is, we come back. That part was all crashed in. But then when you get up to the windshield, the windshield is right here, and then you got the corner of the hood. You lift the hood up. Of course, the hood got to come up, and you got a space between the windshield and the top of the hood. Well, that corner was peeled back. When you go look at your car, you see what I'm talking about. The hood comes up, then you got that space beneath the windshield. That's just a space because you got to lift the hood up. Well, the top corner of the hood, over here by the side mirror, the closer you can get to the fender, the corner right beside the fender, top fender, it was peeled back like you make a bookmark in a book and you peel it back. So I'm looking at that, But I don't want to stay too long because, like I said, he sleep, but I don't really know if he sleep. He could be looking out the window looking at me because he know I got to get up the next morning because I'm parked next to him. So I looked at it real good, but I noticed the headlight wasn't bust. Okay, on the right side, headlight wasn't bust, and so that told me, and that's just to me, you hit something hard, but you hit something soft because it didn't shatter that mirror. I mean, I'm sorry, that headlight on that side, but it was heavy enough to damage your car, which you hit at a high rate of speed, and whatever you hit got stuck on the top of that windshield by the hood and was hung on there, and it peeled it back with such force. It peeled it back like a sheet of notebook paper, like you marking a place. So that to me tells me it had weight to it in order to peel that corner back like that, and then it fell off the car. All right, so I call my little sister. I tell her about it. So I say, where's the news article? So she tells me where it is. I go and read it. And I saw that there's a video clip to it. I'm like, okay, okay. I look at the car, and that looked like his car to me. Now, the other thing about him, I'm trying to figure out why the car was running so at a high rate of speed at that time in the morning. Not knowing it, not thinking it's him. I'm still trying to put it together. Then I remember he had a driver's license, but one day he left his driver's license on the coffee table in the kitchen table. So I went in there and I looked at it, but I noticed it wasn't his name. It was a different name. It wasn't his name. It was his brother's name because they had a twin. I talked to the twin on the phone a couple times. So me doing what I do, I was able to check the license because that's what I do. He don't have a license, but the license is in his brother's name, twin brother's name. So then I got to thinking, looking at the video clip with the way that car was coming through that intersection, that the DOT camera caught him coming through the intersection. They were running from something. Now over there where this car was, police stay hot over there, especially at 1 o'clock in the morning. So they want to know why you outside. It's a Charlotte area. They want to know why you outside at 1 o'clock in the morning. Where you coming from? But I'm thinking they were running from the police. Maybe the police were going down the street and they might have been speeding a little bit because this person used to drive fast. Maybe they were speeding, then the cop made a U-turn, got behind them, and then they just hauling buggy because they don't want to get caught. Don't want to get caught. At this time, they were also trying to get to know this lady that was real deep in the church, and they lived in Charlotte. So I'm like, now, I think I recall him saying something about being on that side of town, but I never asked him, why are you over there? You don't know nothing about the area. But he did tell me he had been here before, a few times to Charlotte before. So I'm like, okay, maybe he do know somebody in the area. Now, all right, so now they came through the intersection. What happened was the boy was walking through the intersection. He had a girlfriend. They had been hanging out downtown Charlotte all day. I think dude might have been 21, 29. Anyway, when you go read the article from August 3rd, 2016, Charlotte, North Carolina, hit and run on W.T. Harris. The boy was young, and he had just kissed his girlfriend and said, be safe getting home. Plus, there was a Facebook post about it, because I started investigating. And the mama was pleading with whoever hit and killed her son to turn himself in and all this stuff. And they were talking about in the article the damage that should be on this vehicle. So I go back outside, because I got to sneak and go back outside, so I go out the front door. And I go outside, and I'm looking at the car. I'm like, this car got all the damage it said it's got, except the windshield not shattered on the right side. There's no windshield damage. So now, going back to the boy. He and his girlfriend were at the corner. They kissed each other. He told her, I love you, get home safe. She said, I love you too, be safe. She went the direction she was supposed to go, because they just got the city bus. And he was going across the intersection. Well, walking toward the intersection, because she was nowhere near when he got hit and killed by the car. So he walking on up the street or whatever. Well, he had a book bag on. They said we was walking across the street. That's when this car came bawling and hit the boy. Because the car didn't even stop for the red light. It didn't stop. It was running the red light. High rate of speed. Hit and killed the boy. I'm thinking the book bag got hung on that upper corner where the windshield is. I tell you where you gotta lift the hood up, and that right corner that was peeled back. I'm thinking his book bag, or maybe his pants loop, or pants got hooked around that corner, and when they hit him and they turned, they peeled that corner back. The weight of the boy. All right, so now to get from that location to my house at a high rate of speed, that would take about 20 minutes. Yeah, about 20 minutes, especially if you're hitting the back roads. The police never did catch the person that did it. And they said that they checked all the neighborhoods because all the neighborhoods were one way in and one way out in that area. And they had cops all over the place. There was none of those cars were there looking at the DOT cam. And they don't know how that car got in and got out. Well, I know how that car got in and got out. Because they went straight down David T. Harris. They jumped on the highway at that time in the morning. They jumped on the expressway or the highway, took the back roads to my house. And that's why they were able to get out. So to me, they didn't get the time of the accident because there wasn't a DOT camera at the place where the boy got hit, but there was one at the following intersection. Well, at another intersection where they caught this dude. So they was estimating when the boy was hit. But being off by 5 or 10 minutes, well, I'm going to say being off by 5 minutes makes a big difference before the police get there to even know that somebody's hit. Because that means somebody got to find the boy by laying in the street. No telling how long that took. But then now you got to look at the camera and you got to estimate from, when they left that boy to the first available camera. So, like I said, 5 minutes, 10 minutes make a big difference in getting away. He had plenty of time to get away because they weren't on him right instantly. All right. Now, my little sister, he met my sisters, but my little sister was having a rough time that day. Actually, it was the day that, was that the day I made the shrimp video? That might have been the day when I'm talking about I was the shrimp girl and I made that video. All right, that she might have got there that day. I'm not real sure, but she might have got there that day. But that doesn't mean I uploaded the video that same day. I got to go back and look. But I went to pick her up earlier. He was off. See, that day of the accident, he was off. So I was sitting in the kitchen with my little sister, and he heard us come in the house through the front door because he was in the back of the house. And we were in my room laughing and talking. Because my sister and I, my little sister, the one I went to lunch with, her DVD man, and she was laughing at me so hard. We went to my room, we were laughing and talking. And next thing you know, I smell his cologne, because I always would smell his cologne first, come through the house, then he'd come and tell me bye. He's gone. But this time, he didn't do that. I smelled the cologne, and I'm like, oh, he gonna be late for work. Let me tell him, hey, you gonna be late for work. When I went back there, he was gone. He didn't say bye, nothing. So I was like, that's weird. He always say bye to me. Let me know, hey, I'm gone, and make sure you lock the door, whatever, But that day that my sister was up there that night, because she stayed real late, she was up there with me. He didn't even come in the room and tell me anything. He didn't text me or nothing. So I'm like, that's not like him. So I told my little sister about the whole thing. She was like, Kim, they never found that car. And that car, she told me the color of the car. I said, well, his car not that color, but depending on how you look at it, it could be that color, depending on time of day. It could be that, I'm not going to say the color, it could be that color. All right, so I called him. Well, I texted him. I said, you didn't say bye? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was in a hurry. Okay. All right. So my sister and I talked about it. I said, he's hiding something. I believe this. So I talked to her about it. I said, and then for him not to come and say bye to me, with you here being from Charlotte, he probably figured you watch the news all the time, and of course you would know about it. She said, probably so. All right, so as time went on, I was investigating further. I went to talk to my neighbor across the street. I had to go talk to her just about every day when I got off work, if she was sitting on the porch. Her name is Granny. She's an older white lady in her 80s in perfect health, and I go talk to Granny. I still talk to Granny. Actually, I need to call Granny today. And I'm sitting on the porch with her. She say, Kimberly? I say, yes, ma'am. She say, something's wrong with your roommate. I say, really? What you think wrong with him? She said, he's done something. She said, he used to park his car facing me in the mornings. She said, now he's facing it toward down the street where I can't see it. So I say, he is parking his car different. I say, but he got damage on the front. She said, really? I said, yeah. He hit something. But see, I asked him, finally, because he didn't tell me. 2 weeks by. 2 weeks went by. Finally, I couldn't take it no more. I said, so what you hit in your car? He said, when did you notice I hit something? And I'm thinking, that's a weird question. When did I notice you hit something? I said, well, that doesn't matter. What did you hit in your car? Oh, I hit a deer. Oh, you hit a deer? He's like, yeah, I hit a deer. I said, oh, okay. He said, why did you go out there and look at it? Because remember, I also investigate accidents on my job. I said, no. I just happened to look out the window one day and I saw your car was damaged. He said, oh, yeah, I hit a deer. I said, oh, okay. I said, you call the police? He said, yeah, I called the police. I said, oh. I said, can I look at your police report? I just want to see what they value your damage at, because my daughter just hit a deer. Ooh, lady, she did hit a deer. Her car was jacked up. It was tore up bad. But the way he talking about, that was no deer. Because he don't know, when I went out there, I was looking for blood, hair, meat, any type of sign that he hit a deer. There wasn't no sign of that. And the damage on that car, it wasn't a deer. And I noticed the bottom part of the car. You know, okay, you got the front tires, and then you got underneath the car. That part underneath was pulled back. It's like some cardboard, heavy cardboard under there, or some heavy plastic. But it had looked like somebody stood in front of the car, took something and snatched it under, so it was dangling. Because it's supposed to lay flush. But it looked like somebody went in front of his car, stuck something under there, and pulled it out. Or he ran over something, and he backed up, and it tore that part from under there. I said, oh, okay. All right. I said, so the insurance company, you called them? Yeah, I called the insurance company. Now, I remind you, I already know he don't have a license, because that's not his name on that license. I said, oh, okay. They gonna write you a check? Yeah, they gonna write me a check for it and repair the car and all that. Now I'm thinking, ain't nobody gonna write you a check. It's been 2 weeks. They didn't settle your case that fast. They even came out and looked at it. So I said, oh, okay, all right. They gonna come out and look at it? He said, yeah, they gonna come out and look at the damage. They gonna come to the house and look at it. Granny sat on the porch all the time. In August, all day, every day, she sat on the porch. Granny said nobody ever came to look at that car. So anyway, she said whenever he get out the car in the morning, because Granny be sitting on the porch drinking coffee. She said whenever he come in from work, every morning, she said he get out the car, he walk to the front of the car, and he just stand there and stare at it. I said, really? She said he'd stand there and stare at it for a long time before he go in the house. She said, watch. Me watch him. So the next morning, I made sure I was up, and I was in the bathroom, so I could see him. I ain't open up the blinds, you twist the stick. I was staring through the little slits where the string run down, and I was looking at the little hole and through the string. So I'm standing there, got one eye, and I'm looking. Sure enough, like clockwork, he get out the car. He walk around the back of the car. He'd go around from the back. Then he'd go to that right side. He'd look at that, just stare at it with his hands in his pocket. And then he'd go stand in front of the car. And I watched him stand there for 15 minutes, staring at it. I'm like, his conscience is eating him up. Because he wasn't a bad person. I'm like, his conscience is eating him up for whatever he hit. Because I can't speculate on what he hit. I only got my own theory. My theory don't mean nothing. He stood there for 15 minutes. He did this every morning for a long time. Mind your car ain't been fixed. Ain't nobody wrote you no check. Okay, so I talked to Uber dude in Florida about it, and he was like, "Don't make a video about it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna make a video about it." This was like, a few years ago, a couple of years ago. Not a few, about 2 years ago. So I didn't make the video. He was like, just be careful and watch yourself. All right, so my roommate started asking me questions. So, you did you go out there and look at my car? No, I hadn't thought about your car. But he didn't know. I had been out there. One morning he would sleep real good. Like I said, after about 2 weeks' time, he ain't thinking I'm going to go out there and look. That's what I'm thinking. I went out there one day. I was out on the ground taking pictures. On the ground taking pictures. I was up close taking pictures. All the little spaces and all, everything. I was taking a lot of pictures. And I talked to Crystal about it. And Crystal's like, Kim, that's not the car. I'm like, Crystal, look at this car and look at his car. That's the car. She's like, no, that's not his car. All right. Crystal, he came in, came into my room at 1:30 in the morning to make sure I saw him. She's like, nah, that's not the car. All right. So I left it alone for a little while. I made a couple phone calls thinking somebody would come and investigate. Nobody came to investigate. I'm like, this is some BS. I even reached out to the girlfriend on Facebook, asking her, telling her I'm sorry for her loss and that they ever find out who did it. She said no. I'm like, damn. But that thing bothered me for a long time. A long, long time. Now, this is the part to get me. All of a sudden, the car gone. The car gone. It's gone. So I'm like, where your car at? 'Cause it shocked me when I came home. He was off. I came home, but his car wasn't there. I said, where your car at? He said, oh, I had it taken to the junkyard. It's totaled. I don't like driving around with a car look like that. I said, your car wasn't totaled. He said, yeah, but I don't like driving around with a car like that. Okay. Now, I get it because at night, me and a friend of mine would drive out to his job because he worked third shift. And I noticed his car wasn't parked in the main parking lot. It'd be parked way somewhere else. Not even in the same parking lot of his job, in another business parking lot. It's like, So he got another car eventually. He got another car that was identical to the car that he had. One, I'm surprised, because where the hell y'all find these cars? I had never seen this type of car before. Identical to the car that he had. Now, by this time, I had moved out, and I was sitting on the porch with Granny, and she was like, yeah, Kimberly got a new car. I'm like, really? So when he came home, I was sitting on the porch with Granny, and we were both like, hey, he had a brand new car. And not only was he not in the car by himself, he was in the car with his wife. He was married the whole time and trying to pretend he liked me and he was single so he could make me think that he liked me or wanted to be with me so he could use me. But that didn't work. So anyway, again, it happened on August the 3rd, 2016. And if you go on, pull it up on the internet. I think it's WSOC.com. I don't know. Pull it up on the internet and you'll see the car and the video and all of that. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.